Imagine two people going out shopping. The only difference between these two people is the diet they have beforehand. Person 1 eats steak and eggs. Person 2 eats pizza and ice cream. They're exactly the same in every aspect except for the diet. So, person 1 goes shopping and he sees a beautiful, attractive, feminine girl. He wants to go approach her. So he approaches her. He feels good in his body. He feels clarity in his mind. He's witty, he feels good, he looks good, he approaches, he talks to her. And what happens? They flirt, they have a lovely conversation, and then they go on a mini date right now. They end up having an awesome time, they go back home together, they have sex, and then a week later, they're now dating, girlfriend and boyfriend. And now person 2, who, remember what I said earlier, ate pizza and ice cream before going out. He, exact same situation, sees a beautiful girl, goes to approach, except he feels like shit. He looks like, to be honest, he looks like shit. He looks bloated, his face is all flabby, and his brain is just not working. His mental clarity is in the gutter. He can't say anything witty or even attract her. So he goes and has the conversation with her, but she instantly smells the unattractiveness from him. She sidesteps the conversation and says, I have a boyfriend. Person 2 then goes home alone, feeling like a failure, and then jacks off alone. The difference in life, just because one person had processed food fucked over their brain and the other person didn't. Can you see how this isn't too far from reality? This could happen to you. I remember a situation very similar to this in my own life. I went to a party about a year ago where beforehand I had pizza. That's where I got that imagination food from. Anyway, I had pizza, and throughout the whole party, I felt like crap. Didn't feel good in my body, didn't feel good in my head. I was honestly stuck in my own head, and I barely had any fun because of just the way processed food made me feel. And like when you see yourself in the mirror bloated and then you just look like shit, you feel like shit, how much less likely are you going to be to want to talk to someone? And then I literally remember a few months ago where I did the opposite. I literally hit a workout, meditated, and then had some steak. And then I went out to like the same like group of people in the party, and I was so much more sociable. It was such a better experience because of the shit I did leading up to the party. And then the food that I consumed was and made my body feel so much better. When you feel good, you can easily make other people feel good. Energy transfers. If you feel like shit, you're gonna make other people feel like shit. If you feel great, you're going to make other people feel great. So I hope this illustrates that processed food is going to fucking ruin your life in all aspects, not just dating. And now I'm going to give you 3 tips that will make quitting processed food fucking doable for you. I want you to understand you likely have deep, unmet emotional needs that aren't taken care of, and that you need to actively work to fill that void. Like, I know that processed food did this for me. I really don't want to say this because it's going deep, but I hope you value this authenticity. So I've always lacked a intimate relationship. So I'm 22 and I haven't had a girlfriend before. That is an aspect of my life that is sorely unmet, and I didn't realize how badly that was affecting me. Addictions. Like, that unmet emotional need was the cause for a lot of my addictions. So I had to work on and actually accept and then work towards fixing this hole in my life. At the very least, I had to accept that this was a problem and that I needed to take steps to fix it. Because otherwise, you're going to need coping mechanisms. And usually things like processed food, binge eating, junk food, they are very like standard as coping mechanisms. They're so easy to fall back on, as I can attest to you they are. Like, I know facing yourself and like deep unmet emotional needs, that sounds fucking big and scary. Honestly, it is kind of hard work as well, but it is extremely rewarding to figure this shit out and then work towards fixing it. It makes your life 100 times better, and you don't need to rely on a coping mechanism. So, you need to understand what unmet need is in your own life. What are you using processed food to cope for? Because if you at least don't understand and accept this part of yourself, you're going to, regardless of any other like actionable step you can do, you're always going to like gravitate back to processed food as that like coping mechanism. To get a little more tangible with this, there's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs that is basically a 5-step pyramid of like at the top it's you need physiological needs, you need safety, shelter, water, food, that type of stuff. And then once you get down from those like basic physiological needs, you'll have like actualizing your dreams, helping other people out. It's like stuff like that. And then it's like deep relationships. You need to have a look at this table, see where you're lacking, and see what the next step that you need to go down. I know mine was deep loving relationships. I needed to work on fixing that and getting that in my life, and at least acknowledging it. And so what did I do? I realized that was a problem, and I made a plan to go become more attractive myself, get my health together, start socializing and actually talking to girls. I made a plan to actually go out like once a week. That's the type of stuff that I need to do. Set goals to fix the problem and develop a plan. Again, it's likely not going to be easy, especially not with your ego. Unfortunately, as humans, we all have such a strong ego and we're attached to like our current self. And it's likely going to be hard to like delve deep into yourself. There's something called shadow work, and there is like journaling prompts that you can do. People that are much smarter than me can explain that for you. So just delve into shadow work and that will help you out and actually get you started on this fucking journey. Tip 2. I want you to now understand the actual effects processed food has on you, and I want you to understand what you're missing out on by not consuming processed food anymore. First off, I've got a question for you. Do you want a loving, beautiful feminine relationship? Beautiful girlfriend? Likely yes. Do you want to work towards a business, achieve financial freedom? Likely yes again. Do you want a 10 out of 10 physique that everyone's jealous of? Again, likely yes. Well, by keeping on with consuming processed food, guess what's going to happen? All of those goals are going to be like at an arm's way away. You're honestly so much less likely to achieve those goals. I'm not going to say it's impossible because there's always outliers, but it's basically impossible. For people like us, it's impossible. Let's be real. When you have such a limiter on what you're able to do, and that's what processed food is, it's a giant limiter on your potential. It's always going to come back to bite you. You already know, surface level, processed food's bad for you. But let me tell you, a few weeks ago, and even years and months ago, I've delved into like what's actually in processed food. You know how there's a bunch of ingredients that are like too intelligent and you're just like, what the fuck is that? You just don't know. I've tried Googling some of those, delving into research and watching videos on what's actually being made, the actual like engineering process of this food. Like, how is our food actually made? Delve deep into these processes, and guess what I figured out? The food is made to be addictive as possible, that a lot of it's carcinogenic, literally causes cancer, it's toxic to us. And the more I find out, the more I realize, holy fuck, I do not want to consume processed food. This is so fucking bad for me. This is causing problems in all aspects of my life. I can't believe I was a fool to actually keep consuming this shit. And I'm not going to let corporations keep taking money from me, because that's literally what they do. They have scientists that research how to make food as addictive as possible to get you to keep coming back. And it's just like, I'm not fucking allowing them to make money from me. I'm fucking better than that. You're fucking better than that. Anyway, this also ties into the second point. Like, just delving deep into what's actually in the food, the process behind it, the more you find out, the more you will realize, fuck, I do not want to consume this. And this actually ties into the second tip. So, what are the second order consequences of consuming processed food. What am I missing out on by consuming processed food? If you actually answer that, it's likely what I said earlier. You know how I said about the processed food fucking over your ability to get relationships, your business, your physique? Processed food, what is it actually, by you constantly engaging in it right now, the short-term gratification of junk food, what are you missing out on? Like, honestly, autistically write down, what is in the realm of possibility had I actually quit processed food? Oh, I may have got that promotion because I would have been more productive at work. Shit, missing out on money. Or maybe I just got fired from my job. Motherfucker, if my brain was better, more functioning, I had more energy, I would have been more useful to my boss, and I wouldn't have got fired. Okay? They're absolute health ramifications. You know that it's horrible for you. It makes you feel like shit. I don't need to say that. And relationships. Because honestly, that's what people care about. Relationships, their health, looking good, status, shit like that. So that's why I'm giving these as examples. Like now, it goes back to, remember when I said imagine the two people, one gets the girlfriend and one doesn't because one consumes pizza and one consumes steak? Yeah. So, consuming processed food makes you a lot more unattractive. It's as simple as that. I want you to actively delve into and think about this in your own life. How is this harming me? What effects is this having? How is this fucking over my happiness? Things like that. By understanding and delving deep into this as well, you'll be more likely to quit. Because you'll be like, fuck, I'm missing out on such a better life. And it's all because of this one fucking thing. If I quit this, I will have such a better life. That will motivate you to no end. So, just delve deeper. And then tip 3, I want you to set up your life so that your emotions aren't constantly fucked. It's kind of like having two houses. One house is built on like a sandy foundation. It's like, it's gonna fall over any second. You can just tell. And then the other one's built on rock, cement, it's a built-in solid foundation. And again, you can just tell it's stable. Then with the sand foundation, the second a small wave comes in, the whole house just crumbles because the foundation is weak. And in an example related to us, it's like a small wave of negative emotion. You're tired, you're bored, you're stressed, you feel lonely. That small little emotion hits you, and that's just gonna blast the house straight fucking down. And then you're gonna binge and give in to your cravings and urges. But if you build on a solid foundation, you'll get those feelings, you'll get those urges, you'll get those cravings, but the house will remain there. It will remain standing, and you won't give in to those urges. So to quit processed food, you have to design a life that like minimizes and reduces the emotional highs and lows, because it's in like these crashes down here that is 99% of the time when people binge, give in to the urges, or just fail in whatever addiction they're doing or trying to break. I remember in my own life, this plays such a massive factor in it. I remember a few years back when I was trying to quit porn, and I failed multiple times, over and over again. I figured out the times when I would fail, when I would give in to those urges, is when I was emotionally at my lowest. And why was I at my emotionally lowest point? It's because of things I did previously. I'd set up my life in a way that's not fucking useful. So say I had shit sleep that day. I am so much more emotional, flip-flop emotions. I can't control my emotions. I'm just such a more emotional person when I don't get sleep. So for me specifically, I didn't get good sleep. I perhaps overate some junk food, had some noodles. I overate. And now combine that with the low sleep, I overate, brain fog, combined with all that. Mate, my emotions are down here, fucking below the table. And now what's going to happen? I'm just going to default to watching porn because there's nothing to stop it. There's no foundation in which to protect the house from falling over. You have to build your life on a strong foundation. You have to build your life on rock, not sand. This means lowering your emotional stimulation, getting rid of such bad habits, like scrolling on fucking TikTok, Less or no porn. Again, obviously, no junk food. Processed food fucks your dopamine receptors up. Video games also shoot your emotions down as well. If you play video games for 8 hours, afterwards you're going to be you're going to be much more likely to, whatever bad habit you're trying to break, you're just going to be so much more likely to engage in it. And then I also want you to start having proper routines. Have a goal to work towards. Have a purpose. Start getting decent sleep. Get sunlight. Start exercising regularly. When all of these things comes together and you actually build a life you like, that is productive, that you like, that you're happy, you won't feel the need to engage in bad habits. If you build a life you love, you won't feel the urges and cravings. Well, you might still a little bit, but it's going to be so much less frequent and with such less intensity that you're so much more likely to actually break it. Because you like your life. Why the fuck do I need to binge? It's a simple thing to say, and it takes a lot of work, but this is not addressing the symptom. This is fixing the underlying, core problem. It's like with doctors, you can get shots to fix the symptoms, but if the underlying, disease isn't treated, motherfucker, you're still diseased. You're still fucked up. This is the key underlying thing you need to fix. As long as fix your life and fix that emotional unmet need. These two are the main fundamentals of breaking habits, breaking bad shit. And also a few extra little things. Give your brain some time to actually think and focus. Create space in your life to actually allow your thoughts to actually process shit. Don't be on technology 10 hours a day and think, oh, I've been on technology 10 hours a day. I get off of it for 10 minutes and now I'm all emotional. And I can't control myself. Damn, I wonder why. You haven't been alive for 10 hours and now everything is coming back to you in those 10 minutes. Of course you're going to feel emotional. Give yourself time to think. And probably the last but best thing in this area is avoiding people that stir up chaos and stir up negativity. Because if people, your friends, they constantly eat junk food, motherfucker, what are you going to do? Your friends that constantly talk about watching porn, what are you going to do? That say, oh yeah, this porn I watched, it was fucking awesome. And then you talk about that with your friends. It's just what the fuck is going to happen to your brain? You're just going to be oh yeah, I want to be included with the friends, so now what am I going to do? I have to engage in the bad habit. So yeah, just build your life on rock, not a sandy foundation. And yeah, before you go though, I want you to ask the question of, what is one thing you're currently grateful for? Gratitude is also a cornerstone habit in my life that has made me a more happy person. So, what is one thing right now you're grateful for? I'm grateful to be living in a first world country. I live in Australia, and I'm blessed to having been born here. It can be something as simple as that. And yeah, write down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like, sub, helps me a lot. Take care. Bye.